Cardi B's emotional reaction after Stefon Diggs' $100 million surprise. Nobody, and I mean nobody, was prepared for what happened that night. Not the fans. Not the media. Not even Cardi B herself. What started as a quiet, private evening between Cardi B and Stefon Diggs quickly turned into one of the most emotional, jaw-dropping moments fans have ever imagined, a moment that would later be described as a $100 million love bomb that left Cardi completely speechless, and in tears. A calm before the storm. It was supposed to be simple. No cameras. No glam squad. No flashing lights. Just Cardi and Stefon. They were in a luxurious, candlelit room overlooking the city skyline. Soft music played in the background. Cardi, relaxed for once, laughed loudly as she joked about how rare it was for her to enjoy a night without chaos. But Stefon wasn't laughing. He was quiet. Too quiet. Cardi noticed immediately. "Why you look like that?" she teased, narrowing her eyes. "You acting suspicious." Stefon smiled, but his hands were shaking. The envelope. Without saying a word, Stefon reached into his jacket and placed a thick black envelope on the table. Cardi frowned. "What is that?" "Papers?" "You breaking up with me with documents now?" she joked. Stefon didn't respond. Instead, he slid the envelope closer. "Open it." The room suddenly felt heavy. Cardi rolled her eyes playfully and opened it, and that's when everything changed. The $100 million shock. Inside were documents. Real documents. Contracts. Investment summaries. Trust fund papers. Cardi's smile slowly faded as she began reading. Her eyes widened. Her hands froze. Then her voice cracked. "Wait, what is this?" Stefon finally spoke, his voice low but emotional. "It's yours." Cardi laughed nervously. "Stop playing with me." "I'm not." He explained. A $100 million investment package, properties, long-term funds, brand ownership stakes, all structured in Cardi's name, secured for her future, her family, and generations after her. No conditions. No control. No strings attached. Just love. Cardi breaks down. At first, Cardi tried to act tough. She shook her head, pushing the papers away. "No. No, no, no. This too much." But her voice was already breaking. "You don't do stuff like this for people," she whispered. "People don't love like this." That's when the tears came. Not the dramatic, loud Cardi tears fans are used to, but silent, uncontrollable tears rolling down her face as her hands trembled. She covered her mouth. "I came from nothing," she cried. "I had to fight for everything. Nobody ever made sure I was safe like this." Stefon stood up and pulled her into his arms. "I see how hard you've worked. I see how much you protect everyone else. I wanted you to feel protected for once." A moment that changed everything. Cardi sobbed into his chest. "I don't know how to receive this," she admitted. "I'm used to surviving, not being taken care of." Stefon held her tighter. "You don't have to survive with me." That sentence hit her harder than the money ever could. She looked up at him, eyes red, makeup ruined, voice shaking. "You know people gonna say things," she said. "They gonna say I don't deserve this." Stefon answered without hesitation. "I don't care what people say. I care about what you feel." Fans would have lost their minds. If fans had seen that moment, the internet would have exploded. Cardi B, the woman known for her confidence, her loud personality, her fearless attitude, completely undone by love. No performance. No persona. Just raw emotion. She laughed through tears and said, "You really crazy." Stefon smiled. "Crazy about you." The aftermath. Later that night, Cardi sat alone, staring at the city lights. She wasn't thinking about money. She was thinking about trust. About vulnerability. About letting someone love her fully, without armor. She wiped her tears and whispered to herself. This one different. Why this moment matters. This wasn't about a $100 million surprise. It was about security, intent, and emotional investment. It was about a man saying, "Your future matters to me." And a woman realizing she didn't have to fight alone anymore. Final words. Cardi B's emotional reaction wasn't weakness. It was healing. And Stefon Diggs' surprise wasn't about wealth. It was about choosing her, loudly, clearly, and permanently. Here's a very long, dramatic, viral-style fictional story crafted purely for entertainment purposes. Backhand index pointing down. Emotional, cinematic, YouTube-ready tone, like the kind your audience loves. Cardi B's emotional reaction after Stefon Diggs' $100 million surprise. No one saw it coming. Not the fans. Not the media. Not even Cardi B herself. On a quiet night that was supposed to be ordinary, Stefon Diggs would change everything, with one decision so massive, so emotional, and so unexpected that it left Cardi B completely shaken, in tears, and struggling to breathe. A calm before the storm. The evening started peacefully. Cardi B was at home, barefoot, hair wrapped, scrolling through her phone, laughing at old videos and half listening to music playing softly in the background. Stefon Diggs was unusually quiet that day, calm, almost distant, but not in a suspicious way. Just thoughtful. "Why you so quiet today?" Cardi joked earlier, nudging him. He smiled. A small smile. The kind that hides something big. "Just thinking," he replied. She didn't push. She had no idea that her entire world was about to shift. The call that changed everything. Then the phone rang. Stefon glanced at the screen. His expression changed. Cardi noticed immediately. "Who that?" she asked casually. He didn't answer right away. He stepped aside. Lowered his voice. Listened. Seconds felt like minutes. When he finally hung up, his hands were shaking. Cardi sat up straight. "Babe, what's wrong?" Stefon looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time that night, his eyes were glassy. "I need you to sit down," he said softly. That sentence alone made her heart drop. The $100 million shock. He took a deep breath. "They finalized it," he said. Cardi blinked. "Finalized what?" "The contract." Silence. Then he said the words that stopped time. "It's a $100 million deal." Cardi froze. Her mouth opened. But no sound came out. $100 million, she whispered. Stefon nodded slowly. Tears were already forming in his eyes. Not tears of ego. Not tears of celebration. Tears of weight. Cardi's emotional breakdown. At first, Cardi laughed. A nervous laugh. "Stop playing," she said, shaking her head. "You lying." "I swear," he said. "It's real." That's when it hit her. Her smile vanished. Her hands went to her chest. Her breathing changed. "Oh my God," she whispered. Tears rolled down her face, not quietly, not gracefully, but raw, unfiltered, real. She stood up, paced, then suddenly sat back down. "I'm shaking," she said. "I'm really shaking." Stefon reached for her, but she pulled him into a tight hug instead, burying her face in his chest. She cried. Hard. Why she was crying was deeper than money. It wasn't about the money. Not really. Cardi had already seen success. She knew wealth. But this? This represented validation. This represented respect. This represented every doubt, every headline, every moment people questioned him, questioned them. They didn't believe in you, she cried through her tears. They doubted you. Stefon's voice broke. I doubted myself sometimes. That's when Cardi lost it. She pulled back, held his face, and looked him straight in the eyes. Never again, she said. Never doubt yourself again. The weight of the decision. But then came the second shock. Stefon looked down. There's more, he said. Her heart sank again. This contract, it changes everything. The schedule. The pressure. The expectations. Cardi wiped her tears, suddenly serious. You scared? He nodded. I'm scared of losing us. That sentence shattered her. She cried again, but this time, it was quieter. Slower. More painful. Cardi's powerful response. She took his hands. Listen to me, she said firmly. We didn't come this far to fall apart now. Her voice was shaking, but strong. You're not doing this alone. You hear me? Not alone. Stefon broke down. For the first time, he cried openly. Not in front of cameras. Not for fans. Just for her. A moment that changed their bond forever. They sat on the floor together. No phones. No noise. No world. Just two. People absorbing a moment bigger than both of them. I'm proud of you, Cardi whispered. So proud it hurts. Stefon kissed her forehead. I wouldn't have made it here without you. They stayed like that for a long time, holding each other, crying, laughing through tears. Fans would later notice something different. Days later, fans noticed Cardi acting different. More emotional. More reflective. More protective. She wasn't flexing. She wasn't loud. She was present. People could feel it. Something had shifted. Something real had happened behind closed doors. The internet would explode, but this moment was theirs. The headlines would come later. The numbers. The debates. The opinions. But none of that mattered. Because the real story wasn't the $100 million. It was the way Cardi B cried, not from shock, not from greed, but from love, pride, and fear of losing something precious. And the way Stefon Diggs realized that success means nothing if you don't have someone holding your hand when it finally arrives.